Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today I've got an opportunity to cover a couple of things. One of them is an actual how to service a reel. The other one is, what's wrong with the reel, and the third is to kind of talk about the reels themselves. These are USA reels, and the interesting thing about this is that they're very nicely made, and I think maybe they were also making these for Bass Pro at one point. This is called the Ray Scott edition, I believe, and it's made of aircraft carbon fiber. These things turn really nice. They have a lot of capacity in a narrow spool, and I had the opportunity to pick these up as part of an estate sale, kind of a purchase, where I was asked to buy quite a bit of stuff, and these were in there. Unfortunately, this one does not have an anti-reverse. I mean, they have the anti-reverse overrides, but this one does not have that. And so what I thought I would do is kind of guide you along when you don't know what you have in a particular reel, if there's an issue. And if you're fortunate enough that you have both reels, or two of those reels, generally if you find yourself in trouble, you can always look to the other one that's functioning to find out what's missing and potentially see if it can be repaired. In this case, I don't think parts are available for this reel. I'm going to guess this reel was probably made in the early 2000s, and yes, it was made in the USA. So US reels, they're nice reels. I'm going to try and repair the anti-reverse on this one as part of the program, and hopefully we'll be successful and give this one a second chance. If not, I have a backup reel for the other one. Interestingly enough, one comes with a plastic spool. Well, I think they're both plastic spools. No, that one might be metal. Okay, all right, let's get started. We're going to remove the exterior pieces, and as I do that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I try to teach how to service fishing reels, how to keep your fishing reel going, how to diagnose problems, and how to, just generally maintain the reel so that it is a long-lasting type of a reel. All right, well, we took the spool off of this one because the problem's going to be underneath the rotor here. We're going to remove the click ring and the shim washer. That shim washer controls the line lay on the spool. And this one, well, this one's got a line gathering up top, slightly, which means that it's going down too far. Probably can use another shim washer to raise it up. I'm going to put those into my parts tray. I'm going to remove the clip that's holding that rotor nut on so that it doesn't spin. And this is a good place to tell you that if you, that's unusual to have two clips there. I wonder if we're missing a clip on the other one. If you are working on a reel that you don't know, take plenty of pictures. Those pictures will be invaluable should you get lost along the way. Okay, I want to see what we have here. We have an 11mm nut here, so we're going to have to go to the tool tray. And when you do the tool tray, what I've found is that it's always a nice place to have them in reach. The reason for that is if you have to put your project down and walk off to get something, well, from time to time that doesn't work out as well as it should. You come back, you forget your position, and it just becomes another failure point in terms of how folks fix the reels. All right, I think I got it this time. There I go. All right, this one comes off in a traditional counterclockwise manner. If you find that you're turning that and it's not moving, try switching the thing to a clockwise manner. I'm going to take the handle off at this point as well. And this is a through screw, so the handle has got a bar on it that comes through the main gear to hold that in place. I like these reels a lot. I have another one of these. As I mentioned, I think they may have been making these for Bass Pro, because I do have a Bass Pro, I think it's Extreme, that's very much this reel. Smaller version. Okay, we've taken that off, we've taken this off. Let's go up now and take this apart and see what's going on here. This is a kind of an interesting carrier here. have a little plastic cover. I'm thinking this is an anti-reverse clutch here. That's probably dirty. I don't know what this is doing. I'm going to get a small screwdriver out and we're going to remove those. I don't know why you would need a little clamp like this. It's the first time I've seen one of these. Yes. All right. So this is a anti-reverse clutch. Quite honestly, doesn't look like there's any issues there with that. I'm going to put the inner collar back in. Yeah, that's holding. All right. So one of the things that always becomes curious to me is maybe this is not working. Ah, yeah. I thought maybe the spring was broken, but I do notice that there is a lot of debris here, right inside the case. It may be that that's preventing this eccentric from moving all the way. Put a drop of penetrating oil in there. Swing this back and forth. Yeah, I think that was it. I think there's dirt here that didn't allow you to come all the way across. That would be the override position, but I did notice that that dried grease there is probably the cause. We're going to find out in a moment, but we're going to continue with the service of this reel first. When you service a reel, you want to make sure you clean it up good and that you take the time to examine the pieces and parts to make sure that those pieces and parts are not broken. All right, I'm going to take this for a moment, put that in there. I'm going to leave that big part off to the side. And I'm just got my fingers crossed here because this one, a very smooth reel. And when I saw these in the box, I was happy that they were there because I do like these reels. And a lot of times folks don't even know that these reels exist. So I need to do some more work in terms of when they were made, but I do like them. They are lightweight. It says that they are aircraft grade carbon fiber, and that seems to be an upgrade from graphite, right? Carbon fiber. Just a solid reel all around. I've taken the 4 screws out now. They're all the same size. So those are going to go into a corner of my parts tray so that I can keep track of them. We should be able to remove this side plate now. Just work it through. And here's another thing to like about this. Look at the design inside this. So we have a main gear, which is going to be turning an oscillation gear and turn a spiral gear from your pinion gear setup. That's how it's going to work, just like that. Okay, I'm going to remove the pinion gear so I can clean that. It's got 3 ball bearings in it. One there, one up top, and one in the back cover. Again, we'll take these out, make sure they are all the same. And if anything, I guess, like I mentioned, it kind of came out of an estate sale, so that's usually a good guarantee that the reel has not gone fishing in quite some time. And dried grease is one of the consequences of having a reel sit around for a while. And you can see there's no grease here. There is grease that's dried on the carrier there. Let's take this out. This should come out. Here's your other ball bearing. We should be able to pull up and out now on our pinion gear. You can bring out your axle shaft from this side. And we should be able to remove the oscillation gear. Isn't that interesting? The oscillation gear appears to be nylon. It is nylon. You don't see that much around. Just Can't get it out of there. All right. Just need to lever it up a little bit. There we go, up and out. Yeah, so we have a nylon. Oh, we have another bearing. Dude, that's what was going on there. The bearing was getting tough in the levering. All right, so we got 4 ball bearings. Very nice. All right, you want to check the teeth on that nylon gear. I want to check the teeth on all of those gears. I'm going to pull through on that. I'm checking the gears are clean and they're not clogged, but it doesn't hurt to clean them anyway. Check the ball bearing on the back side. Yep, that's running fine. And I oil the bearings. That's what we'll do here. And nylon, well, nylon's self-lubricating, so you don't need to put any grease on that. We'll have a little bit of grease on that main gear, which I'm sure will help this, because the main gear is going to drive both the oscillation gear and the gear here. Take a picture again. We want to do the same thing with this. We want to grab a brush, pull through on it to make sure you clear. And you can see that's old dried grease there. Very nice product. As I mentioned, I've had these before. I enjoy fishing with them. And this is the first time I've opened one up, surprisingly. And I'm happy to see what I see inside. Okay, spiral gear. Ball bearing, we'll do the same thing here. We're going to oil that ball bearing. How do you test the ball bearing? It's pretty easy. If you have a shaft like this, just put it on the shaft. First and foremost, it was spinning when I had the reel tested before I started taking it apart. That's probably the best place to do it. If you hear any noise or grinding going on, then that'll generally be a good place to diagnose the issues with the reel. Is that grinding because it's a problem with your gear? Is it a problem with your bearings? Is it a problem with the rotor and the alignment and the like? All good. All right. Just check it. Make sure that you're clean there. I'm going to put a little bit of grease into the channel. That's the only part on this that's going to need the grease there. That stud on your oscillation gear is going to do that. I'm going to bring this up because that's kind of how it worked. Before I do that, I want to grab one cotton swab here. So I was able to kind of logic this one out and understand that this is an anti-reverse clutch. But again, maybe it would have had that spring broken where I thought maybe that's what I was seeing. And well, if you do that, generally speaking, you're going to save yourself a lot of issues. But it's not that everybody has 2 of a kind, right? So when you do have it, consider yourself fortunate. All right, we got to do 2 things at once here, sort of a thing. Got to bring this up and over and set that onto your oscillation gear. Then you can bring the pinion gear down and you can seat the bearing. With that bearing seated, we can take the 3 screws that we put into our parts tray, bring those in. So it's kind of funny. Somebody was sending me a comment the other day, said, geez, it seems every reel I have, you have a video on. Well, no way in the world, because it's just too many reels out there. Even though I have probably 2,000 videos in the library now. But this is an example of how my library grows. When I see one and it's unique, and I know that I don't have a video on it, I try to do that if possible. And I had a couple minutes here today to do this, so I thought, well, let's go do that. Put that one on board. Plus, I'd like to use this. All right, here's our main gear again. I want to do the same with the main gear that we did with the pinion gear and the oscillation gear. Come back, work it through. Now this should be the back side because there's a little bit of a burring here, or a shimmy here for the bearing. Shame on me, I should have marked this so that I knew which goes where, but we're going to find out quickly because it won't mesh if it's wrong. And it's meshing and doing what it should be doing. Okay. All right, well, we're going to come back now. We can close this up. Excuse me. Oh, we got another bearing in there. Gee whiz. This is the gift that never stops coming. Now you can see why these are so smooth. There's a bearing underneath here. On the pinion gear. Rides in the case, just like that. We can oil that as well. Wow. Well, I don't know it all. I never said I did. All right, let's put this back on. Bring our case over. Not sure if I remember if I oiled that or not, so we'll go do it again. Bring this back on. Go into our parts tray now and get the screws. So that anti-reverse bearing was not fractured. You would know that if you saw a broken case on the outside, which would say the roller bearings can't grip. And I think the only thing that may have been happening is where you have the swing arm that's going to provide the tension, move those over into contact with the inner sleeve of that bearing. I think that was clogged by the giant grease. It wouldn't allow it to go all the way over, and as a result it wouldn't clamp down as a clutch that's supposed to do. Well, we're going to find out, right? Always fun to do that. Alright, these are back on. And again, here's that clutch, and again you can see there's all kinds of dirt on there. So I think what's happening is that dirt has interfered with the operation. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can just be a little bit, but a little bit is enough that it won't finish the job. This I did notice when I took it off had a little tag end on the end of it. That tag end goes under these. So as we got to put this in, just trying to find my sleeve. Absolutely important. Now, you do not oil an anti-reverse clutch, and you make sure that the sleeve is dry. All right, bring that on. Let's bring this over. Set that in here. Make sure that you intersect with the pivot point on that override. Tighten this down to hold that in place. And we got it. We got it. And I will not keep you in suspense. We've got it. I'm turning it by hand and it's stopping the way it should. All right. For the bail, just a little bit of oil squirted into where the trip lever is. A little bit of oil onto each seam. You can use penetrating oil for this if you like, for the bail. Turn it and work it in just so that it stays lubricated. Grab your rotor, put that back on. We know that this was a standard lefty-loosey kind of thing, so it goes in a clockwise manner. Bring this over. Very nice reel. Okay, bring your tie down. I'm only going to put one of those clips on. I'm thinking maybe this reel over here may be missing a clip. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Align it so that you can get the tie-down screw in. Screw goes next. One thing I'm wondering about, I guess there wasn't any badges here. I'd have to go back and see an ad for it or try to find some documentation to figure out whether that ever had a badge on it. But I got two of them that don't have the badge there. That kind of tells me that it probably wasn't there to begin with. All right, let's reset the handle screw. Take a look at the drag washers inside the reel. Again, there's a little stacking going on here. I happen to have an extra washer, so we'll put that in. And we won't know right away. You're going to have to cast it out and retrieve it. To get to the drag washers, you want to remove the clip that rides in the groove here. This looks almost new. These are Teflon washers, Teflon up top anyway. Teflon throughout. Okay. So we have 4 metal washers, 3 Teflon washers. That means that one of these goes in first to hold the spool. And whatever the odd number is, that would be the one that would go in first. If you have an even set, then the drag washer itself. Teflon washers, you don't do anything with them. They're non-permeable, so it doesn't make any sense to put oil on them. They won't absorb. And the purpose of oil in drag washers is to keep the drag washers fresh so that they don't rip and tear. Okay, we've alternated them. I'm going to put the clip back on now. And put this back onto the spool. Let's pull onto the shaft, but first I'll put that click washer in. Now there's a little tag end right here. When your drag is going out, that's what's going to click. That'll make the noise. All right, we said we probably need another one of these because it's spooling high. So you have to raise the spool to get it to center. And I happen to have an extra one here. Came from somewhere, laying on my desk, waiting for a chance to give a reel a second chance, and there it is. So we just added that little bit, and that should move this gathering from high to the middle. All right, I'm going to reset this. Bring over the adjuster button. I'm going to give this reel a test. What a nice design. I like this reel a lot. I haven't seen this one from the inside yet. All right, give it a turn. And as I mentioned, this is just one nice smooth reel all around. Increase the handle there. Just a nice smooth easy reel. And of course, does it stop? Yep, it stops. There you go. So that was it. So we had dirt inside the reel, right where that override arm swings. It didn't allow the override arm to come all the way back to provide the tension on that anti-reverse clutch override. Make sure that are ready to go fishing. All right, well, we got one more of these to do. I'm not going to do that one on camera. We're just going to take a time to get them both set up and take them fishing. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, and everybody who works day in and day out in the public interest. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for watching, for making this channel what it is, and, well, for sticking around to help learn how to give reels a second chance. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.